Okay, so
Oh, good.
we're better watch it.
Yeah, I got to be good now.
Yeah, I know. Calm down. So I'm hoping, is it appropriate to say that we want these changes so that we get appropriate reimbursement, to build support for our position and to kind of come align more with what the accuracy according to the state practice acts. I'm assuming that that's why we're doing this.
Yes, but can't we put something about patient care accurately coding according to medically necessary?
Okay, yeah,
Well, and we're causing how do I say it, like issues that shouldn't.
oh,
What little care they get.
could you
Yeah.
repeat, Patty? I lost you there for a minute. Could you repeat that?
Uh,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. It's remembering. Words come out of my mouth. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think it's the paint fumes, Patty.
Yeah,
I think, oh God. I'm not telling Mike this color is supposed to be a very pale taupe.
yeah.
It looks like it has a relationship with the color mauve as well.
Oh,
But we're not going to go there.
okay.
What I said was it's causing hardship for the patients because they realize that they could be on the hook for the costs if it can't be reimbursed, and they might not seek care because they're afraid it's not going to be reimbursed. It's just another roadblock in their access to better health, and that's unfair. It's unfair to them. We always forget about we want to be reimbursed. The dentist wants to be. I get it. Everybody needs to make a living. That's fine. But the patient is the one who's really suffering because they're unsure if things are going to be paid for, and it may delay them seeking treatment with sometimes disastrous results, or it might slow them down. There's a lot of things that happen, and we shouldn't put up those kinds of roadblocks because of simple language that could be easily changed. An editorial change is all it takes.
Right. There's not many codes and stuff that actually need to be changed, but you're right. It's the discussions per chapter, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
To say nothing of the fact that it seems that the CDT is usurping the power of the state dental board in deciding who gets to do which procedure. And actually the legislature, because they're the ones who pass the practice acts, this dental board administers it, but the legislators are the ones who are supposed to be making the laws, and CDT is setting themselves above that by deciding that only dentists can do this,
well,
even though
yeah,
the legislature says differently.
right.
I don't know if it's politically wise to say that.
But
Isn't that what ADA was trying to work with the Federal Trade Commission?
Well, interestingly, there have been a lot of times where the Federal Trade Commission has stepped into a state. South Carolina is the one I've heard of, where the dental board was limiting free trade. And I don't really think that state dental boards want to deal with the Federal Trade Commission. So there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't do this. And if these are truly, as they say, procedure codes, then let them be procedure codes. And the state dental board gets to decide who does what. And if they're willing to go out on a limb and say that only a dentist can do this, that's their prerogative. If their legislature says, no, we think only a dentist should be able to do this, then that's the prerogative of the state legislature. But the ADA is nothing more than a lobby.
bully. A bully.
Well, yes, exactly. They are. But, so, again, this is not politically correct, so we would certainly have to modify the language. But I got to tell you, that felt really good.
Yeah. In looking at the Dropbox, I noticed that the oral cancer group had come up with this template, if you will, these talking points for potential partners. And I really liked the way that they did their template. So I was hoping that maybe we could work on that tonight and kind of hone that so that we could take this to whomever that we want to talk to and kind of give them a synopsis of what our group is doing and why we need their help. So the provider language in the CPD codes are inaccurate to, if you could help me finish this statement. Can everybody see this?
No.
Yes.
No?
Where are you? Natalie?
Yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry. The provider codes are inaccurate.
And interfere with state dental practice acts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think maybe not interfere. They don't interfere with them all of the time. Maybe interfere or are not concurrent with state practice acts. Because sometimes, you know what I mean?
That's fine. That's good. I've never been one to mince words, so thank you.
Yeah, me either.
I'm bad. I won't make the politically correct choice.
Okay, that sounds great. And then,
Good.
you know, kind of like who we are, the Dental Coding Consortium work group is established to us. We're assigned to review the CPD code and recommend editorial changes with inaccurate provider language, work with dental coding for appropriate provider language, and then use evidence-based techniques and research. Anything else
Good.
you can think of?
I'd love to put something in there about patient care.
I was just going to say, yeah, like the hardship, you know, that about what you said about the hardship.
Helping
Im-
helping patient helping access to care.
Okay.
Something
Yeah, access to care is so overworked and overused.
I know, but
No, I was thinking about that.
I agree.
Right. You agree?
I agree that it's overused. That phrase is overused. And
Okay.
yeah, and people hear it and they turn off.
Gotcha. Ooh, Dan.
patient care. Helping with patient care.
Okay. Helping promote oral health or helping.
Furthering.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Furthering the patient's ability to obtain, maintain oral health.
Sounds good.
Good.
You can doctor that anytime you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is just the first draft kind of thing. And then what we want to accomplish is to update the coding to current statistics. We need assistance in establishing the most current statistics information.
Actually, part of what we can put in there is if we use provider neutral language.
Okay.
Because they can say the provider will. We just don't want them to say the dentist, the hygienist, the assistant.
I think we should, that should be establish a provider neutral, what did you say? Provider neutral
Language.
language. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. I lost it too there.
Because that's part of the problem. They keep saying, well, so-and-so can do this and so-and-so can do that. Well, that's in their opinion. And by the way, they're doing this to pander to their members. And if they simply said, it is up to the provider, the state authorized provider, how about?
Okay.
If we want to do it that way. So, yeah, they don't, and again, it would be an editorial change. It's not like we have to go in and have 43 new codes or even 2. We just need them to change it instead of just saying the dentist, or I don't know if they put assistant or whoever they put in there. Maybe it might be physician. I don't know, but if it's provider neutral, then, because some of these codes can be used by physicians and they can be used by nurse practitioners, and like the fluoride varnish thing.
Yes.
So, and maybe that would be another thing to put in there, is that there is cross-coding that goes on between physicians and their offices, and like the fluoride varnish. They could just as easily use that code if they needed to get reimbursed for it, and their nurse practitioner, God knows it's their medical assistant who's going to slap the stuff on, because they don't care who does it.
No,
But
we just had this conversation come up with silver diamine fluoride, in that there are across the country a few pop-up medical clinics that are now establishing a mini dental clinic within their facility for kids who are identified as having active decay. They go to this dental clinic, they get oral hygiene instructions, and they get silver diamine fluoride placed. So again, that's that crossover that we're having. So I think the provider specific language just has to go, because it's going to be everywhere.
Right. Exactly. Where did we see that? I saw that too. It was a long.
Yeah, I don't know. We got it sent to us. Of course, Elevate sends us a million things a day, so it was part of our inbox.
Someplace I saw that, and it's like, yeah, come on,
Okay, that's great.
Oh, it was a long thing from a pediatrician. It was like an hour program that I watched, and it was about, in Colorado, of course, but they were putting in a dental chair, and they had a hygienist. By the way, they really liked having a hygienist, so that the hygienist, they could treat their patients immediately. It was easy for people to get there, blah, 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 blah. They could do sealants, they could do fluoride, they could do everything. And how well it was working. Her name was Patricia. I can't remember her last name.
We're public.
Yes, we are. Doug, come on. Yeah, it was. I must have seen it. No, Natalie, didn't you send that? Natalie sent that. She sends the best stuff. That's why.
Sorry, I stepped away from my computer. What was the question?
Didn't you send? Were you the one who sent that really long report by the pediatrician who had a hygienist in their clinic? They started implementing it, and how well it was working. It's like an
No,
hour.
that wasn't me.
Oh God, I was giving you credit for it. Oh well, fine. That's right. Quiet.
Okay, so is there anything under what we want to accomplish?
Don't we want to help with obtaining patients' oral health too?
What was that again?
I said, don't we want to also accomplish patients' optimum oral health, or
Okay,
help with maintaining their health, optimum health? I don't know, something like that. Because if that's what we want to help to it. Well, we want to accomplish that.
right.
You know,
By removing the barriers to, or roadblocks like we talked about before. By removing the
Yes.
roadblocks to
help patients.
treatment, yeah. Remove, oh, sorry, can't spell. Can't write either. To what? I don't want to say access. Seek.
To achieve oral health.
Thank you.
Achieve oral. That's it.
Achieve and maintain.
I just couldn't think of a verb.
Yeah, nothing like being put on the spot while we're all sitting here watching you.
I was gonna
Come on,
say,
Betty.
and I'm a horrible typer to begin with.
We all are when something like that happens.
Okay.
I am. God. I'm hungry.
Okay. Anything else?
I think she said to achieve and maintain optimal oral health.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay.
Do we have to have oral in there?
Oh,
Just
just
a thought. Just a
Okay.
thought. Maybe we want to remove oral on everything and just put health.
Or insert the word overall.
Yeah, that would work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good girl.
Okay. Do we think that's it for that for right now?
For now.
Okay. And then steps to take would be using language from ADA enhanced codes to use in talking points. What do the partners have in publications or policies that could support this? And then what potential partners, what they would like to see accomplished. And I was thinking, do we want to send out a survey for the advanced credentialed RDHs or just from ADHA? I was thinking about asking ADHA for their email for these RDHs and see what their experiences were, you know, as far as kind of backing up what we're saying to the CDT. Is that even worth doing? Any thoughts?
Well, we definitely need to speak to some of those hygienists. So, but do we have to go through the ADHA? Does Patty or anybody on this group know anybody?
Patty and Natalie would probably know more people.
Right.
I was just talking with my mic muted.
That's all right.
Talked to Ann Vittrell on something else. Anyway, a couple weeks ago. And we were mentioning that this was one of the things that we were doing. And she did say she might have some information that could help us.
And who was
I
that?
haven't. Ann Vittrell,
Oh, okay.
CEO of ADHA.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is they've been, we were all UOR, and they all went to Australia for the international whatever.
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think it's next week is the ADA meeting. I don't know if she's going to be at that or not. I would guess she would be. So I don't know if I can get any attention from her. I'm actually going to ask Patty to ask her, because she'll pay more attention to Patty than she will to me. I'm not even a member anymore. So,
Uh-oh.
hey, I have really seriously limited dollars.
You bet.
And, you got to make a decision, and yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think that, so I might be able to get some information about where that would be a problem. I can't promise anything, but that was my source. After that, I don't know who to go to. There's advanced, what are they?
Therapists?
Yeah, whatever there's the therapist, but then there's people in California who have something.
I know. I was trying to think of all the different.
Because there's a alphabet soup of different credentials,
Right.
which again makes it problematic to put in a provider, because maybe an RDH AP or AP RD, whatever they are in California, can do it, but in Oregon they have another initial and they couldn't do it, and it just all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. So anyway.
So a survey wouldn't really be beneficial at this time?
I don't know. Do they have, well, California has its own organization. You might
Correct.
be able to reach out to them and say, hey, what do you got for us?
Okay.
This is what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Do you have any information from your members, from your state, from anything?
Right.
That would help us demonstrate how this affects care. And I don't, beyond that, I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, me too. But that's a good idea. That's a good way to. I was just ADHA because it'd be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
I might be able to reach out to Kyle Isaacs and ask her since she practices in a bunch of settings, if she has issues with reimbursement because of provider language.
Okay.
Good resource, Connie. Good resource.
That would be awesome.
Thank you. And okay, so that's we can. I'll put this in a doc form and then send it to everybody, attach it to your emails. And that way you can have this to give to people if you want. Or we can continue to work on, polishing it up and such.
The other people who do stuff like this was the Pew Foundation.
Who?
Pew, P-E-W.
P-E-W. Okay.
And they do don't quote me, stuff, I don't know, about oral health care. I mean, they've pushed a lot of stuff.
All right.
And they're a pretty good resource. I don't know if they have any information, but it couldn't hurt to ask them if they find that if they could give us any guidance. Are they finding that they have trouble with coding this or reimbursing this, or pick the appropriate phrase, and
Gotcha.
just say, we're trying to streamline the process by having ADA remove limiting provider language. And do they have any information that we could use to demonstrate how this can be a problem?
Okay.
I think, ladies, that even though this is not a very good suggestion or a very good thought, that somehow, some way, we have to start educating our political people, and educating them, based upon, taking care of the patient, and just educating legislators, so when and if this does come around and we're really fighting really hard with the ADA, we could have some people in our back pocket.
Yeah.
I know, don't shoot the messenger.
No, I know.
You're right, but
for provider language, or
Yes, I mean, I'm going to take these bullet points, and I'm going to try to I'm going to start with my local congressman.
gotcha.
And then I'm going to, and I'm going to start saying, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing, and nothing may become of it, or something may. He may say, oh, this is great. This came across my desk. Let me get in touch with her because she knows something about it.
Excellent.
Just making those grassroots connections.
Yeah.
Because the ADA is big, and we have to get as many coalitions as possible on our side to almost shame them into saying, hey, you know what, you're right, this isn't right. And they may not know it, or it may have been an all boys network, and I'm thinking it's changing, but they almost have to be nudged into doing things.
Sure.
So I think that if we could do this and get some grassroots political, if we all just go up to one person, in our state or whatever, and say, hey, if you ever have any problem with dental codes, this is what, the organization I'm on, I'd be willing to help you. These are some of the things we're working on. Mm-hmm. And just, that may be it. Yes. But if something comes up, at least you've made that connection.
Right. Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.
And this is what we talked about last time. These are basically points that Christy had brought up during her kind of discussion on what her issues were. And I had asked if, because we need to talk about what our discussion points will be for this coming up meeting on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Uh-huh. And so anyway, I was, Christy said that she would be happy to present some of her points. What were some other things that we should bring up for the meeting? And who would like to say it?
I think you ought to bring up something about getting more than Christy's point of view.
Right.
Maybe if you could put some kind of like call out there at the meeting, looking for people who know people who are practicing advanced therapists or in that kind of setting.
So,
maybe recruit or request, whatever. Practitioners that or dental hygienists that practice under these conditions, or know of someone who practices that we could talk to them about this.
Would it just be hygienists or would it be other people too? Should I put RDH or should I put, are there some states that do allow others that aren't hygienists or?
I mean, you could put, what's our group? Mostly hygienists, correct? Patty Beeson?
Mostly, although there's assistants. There's been a dentist or two in there too.
So you want to put advanced practicing providers?
Yeah, we can put whatever. If they're gonna, anyone can comment and say, no, that doesn't sound right. Don't say this, say that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, because more heads are sometimes better. Trying to think how this might play out.
Reimbursement issues maybe
Yeah.
because of the codes?
Well,
Or roadblocks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at least it doesn't sound like we're so money hungry.
Yes. Okay. And then what's another thing we want to talk about? I guess we don't have to say more than this, but I mean, was anybody able to contact with anybody with at under one roof as far as coalition partners?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, that's fine. So do we want to just go from the angle of the fact that people are having issues due to the provider language? Is that going to be our statement?
And that we're going to need help backing that provider statement up. You know, we can't say, oh, we just want it changed. We're
Right.
going to need evidence and testimonies and proof that this is the reason we need to do this. Or evidence-based evidence.
Research?
I wonder. You know, ADA does say on the last page of the preface that state practice acts trump anything that's said in the CDT. Yet, HIPAA has designated CDT as the code set for dentistry, period. So we have to code accurately. And putting in provider language the way they do can lead us all down the road to fraud, because we're using the code although it actually says one provider. In my state, it's okay for another provider to do it, but it's confusing at best, and possibly more of an issue if let's say things were to go to a court of law, because they would look at the CDT and then you'd have to send them back to the preface, the last page of the preface. Say, yeah, but they don't really mean that. So why don't we just come out and say what we really mean? Yeah?
Right. If they
Wrong.
don't, yeah, because they also say that the payers, based on the payers' reimbursement policy, they can use whatever code they want.
Mm-hmm.
So our other discussion point would be to prevent fraud and litigation. No.
Prevent fraud and inaccurate coding. Because of the whole HIPAA thing. I mean, even if you don't take any money from any third-party carrier, you still need to use the CDT code.
Right.
Because HIPAA designated that as the code set for dentistry.
So how about saying something like prevent fraud and inaccurate coding by, I don't want to say that word again, concurrent, by by something about meeting the needs or of both HIPAA and ADA. I'm trying to think of the right words.
Mm-hmm.
Prevent fraud and inaccurate coding by accurately representing provider language to encompass HIPAA compliance.
Okay.
HIPAA, I just can't think of the right word. But yeah, Patty, what you said.
What was that? By meeting the needs. Okay, inaccurate coding by accurately representing provider language to encompass
HIPAA and ADA standards.
Okay.
Or requirements or, yeah, stuff like that.
Requirements, that's fine.
Okay. Woohoo.
Woo-hoo.
All right.
And somebody will look at this and rephrase it, and we'll be like, why didn't we think of that?
That's because we're thinking on the spot. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll include this in the email, and then we can kind of, polish it up for Sunday in case we want to change those things.
Okay.
Is there any?
Just be aware.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know,
Yes.
no matter what you do,
Yeah.
someone will change it. Just knowing what I know. And that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
You just can't take this stuff personally.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a
We're
work.
all floundering.
Don't spend hours on it. You'll make yourself crazy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Yep. A living document. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So does that satisfy everybody's presentation to the group then?
Yep. I think so.
I kind of think it says Christy Fogarty issues due to provider language.
Take that
I
out.
wish we could do a little bit more on like what kinds of issues she was discussing.
Well, this is what I had from what she talked about.
Okay. Then, yeah, if we've got that, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Because issues is like such a word. I have issues. I have issues.
Right.
Okay,
With
no
issues.
comments on my issues, but you know, we all
With
have
issues.
issues.
You have issues with the issues.
Yeah. Um, it's just one of those overused words.
Well,
And,
maybe I'll just
and
take that out and I'll just put her name, and then she can either speak to these points or whatever,
yeah,
she wants to present.
you might just put Christy Fogarty and
or po-
provider language, and leave it at that.
Okay.
or point of view.
Yeah.
Mr. Christie Scrogery's point of view. Yeah. Point of view on provider language.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
You'll also want to correct the spelling of HIPAA number 4.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
What is it?
Ways.
HIPAA.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Yes, that looks right. Thank you, Natalie. Okay. Anything else, ladies?
Nope.
Okay.
God, I wish we knew somebody in the Federal Trade Commission.
I know. I know.
Really want to know somebody in the government.
All right. So that's all I have. Anybody else have anything else? That they want to present or talk about?
No,
No?
I wish I had more information to give. But.
No, that's fine. Okay, so we'll talk again on Sunday. Do we need to schedule another meeting like for the next couple of weeks, or do we?
Should we wait to see what happens on Sunday?
It's Sunday. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Patty.
I'll bid.
Thanks.
Good night.
And
Thank you. I'm
and
glad
Patty
you're feeling
Beeson.
better.
Yes. The Patty Show. All right.
Yeah, right?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.